Hello everybody, welcome to the Wonky Angle, where I talk about electronic music, both new and old. And it's time for the obligatory pop music video, woo! Well, I suppose I'm still doing these. Barely. I'm gonna have to be honest, while I do still care enough about Billboard and pop music to want to make a video about what I liked and didn't like coming out of the charts, I don't think I have it in me to do it in the full Todd ripoff format that I've been doing anymore. Last year I did a Todd ripoff list for the best hits and relegated the worst hits to a much quicker rundown featuring the text-to-speech voice guy, only expounding a few sentences on each track, if that. This year I'm gonna be doing something kinda like that for both lists, only saying as much as I feel like saying, be it a short paragraph or a sentence. Not with the text-to-speech voice guy, because he's on strike.
Human rights for auto-generate.
This year's charts did not inspire a lot of energy or enthusiasm out of me, and I'm not gonna try and fake it. I frequently consider not doing these at all anymore, because I feel like there are just lots of better people more equipped to handle this topic than me. But I'm doing it anyway, because tradition or something? I don't know. Not sure if this is gonna be the last one, but if not, I'm probably gonna keep these videos shorter like this. Make them less of a monumental commitment, because they feel less and less like something I look forward to doing. I mean, the main thing that got me motivated to go through with this at all this year is that I get to bring up the fact that Calvin Harris didn't have any hits this year. So for the first time ever since I started making these, he will not be showing up on my best list. Thank freaking God. So yeah, the usual disclaimer that this is just my opinion and you can feel free to disagree with it. I use a pretty loose definition of hit. If I knew about it this year and it charted on the Billboard Hot 100, it probably counts. And I tend not to be affected by overplay. I'm never around the radio. I didn't hear Billie Eilish's Bad Guy in its entirety until like a few weeks ago, and that's also the case with quite a few other songs on both lists as well. Well, okay, Old Town Road is the one big exception. That was inescapable everywhere on both the internet and in the actual outside world, and I will be quite happy to never hear that song again. But it will not be appearing on either list. So, may as well get into it. This is the top 10 worst hit songs of 2019, starting with dishonorable mentions.
I'm at a party I don't wanna be at.
Yeah, it's kind of bullshit and disingenuous, and Justin Bieber doesn't make any sense on it, and it's lazy as hell. I feel kind of inclined to be nicer to it, though, because its sentiment of wanting to leave a party is something I relate to quite a lot. Who is this for, exactly? People who really love Die Another Day, I guess?
I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost.
I don't get it.
Can we just talk?
You know, I was excited to hear a track produced by Disclosure stuck at the top of the charts. Great to see them still getting high-profile work. But then I actually heard the track and it's just That's What I Like by Bruno Mars, but with more indigestion. So, yeah, here's the list proper, I guess. Number 10.
One thing right,
Surprisingly, Marshmello didn't put out anything this year that outright pissed me off. Like, this isn't anywhere near as terrible as Friends, but yeah, he still consistently sucks. This is bland and lifeless, and nobody involved gave a fuck about making it, and I can't imagine anyone giving a fuck about it besides radio station programmers who want something to fill up airtime. Number 9. Boring, soulless, unpleasant, and I could have sworn Halsey was at least usually more interesting than this. Number 8. Jeez. I feel like I could probably sing better than this dude. No, probably not. I'm not actually gonna try and find out, don't worry. Number 7.
Close on Sunday. You my Chick-fil-A.
Kanye really put a freaking ad for Chick-fil-A in the middle of his all-Christian album and got it to chart. Don't try to tell me it's anything more than an ad. That's basically what it is. I really hope Jesus is King marks the end of the Kanye era and eventually finally stop the endless discussion on his art and genius. Though I'm not gonna hold my breath for it. Number 6. Ever seen any of these names on one of my lists before? Really breaking new ground with this pick. For what it's worth, this isn't as unlistenable as I would expect given how much I tend to hate both of the names attached to this. I've heard worse out of both the Chainsmokers and BB Rexa, but it's still a tedious, joyless, nothing of a track that has nothing of value to recommend it. Number 5.
I got your bitch singing la 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 la.
I don't get it. Number 4.
Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart.
I never thought Old Town Road was any better than okay, and any goodwill I had towards it was removed by overplay and being completely inescapable for pretty much the entire year. But at the very least, it felt like just some random no-name kid having fun. Like, the song itself did feel genuine. Marketing, not so much, but you know. The Get Up, though, is a transparently focus grouped, calculated attempt by big record companies trying to find similar success, and it is pretty insulting. Number 3. I think that drop speaks for itself. Number 2.
Number fuck you pay me.
My anus is huge.
In terms of just being music, this is by far the most unlistenable pick on the list. There isn't a second during this track that didn't make me want to jump out the window or a joke that landed in any way. Not even the Kanye one. Only reason it's not my number 1 is because it felt like too boringly obvious. When I went into it for the first time, I'd already heard from like 8 different people about how it was the worst thing ever. It's been thoroughly shit on and has already topped more than one year-end list for worst song of the year, and I'm not even the first one I saw to hold it back for number 1 because it was too obvious. My number 1 pick, I mean, I feel weirdly alone in how much I hated it. It was the one track that elicited negative feelings that lasted throughout the year and left an impact on me, and this is it. Number 1.
Promise that you'll never find another like me.
So yeah, this is the one track on here that actively makes me want to throw up. And coming from an artist who I think we all have higher expectations for, like, no one expects quality material out of Lil Dicky. But I never hated Taylor Swift. I mean, I've never loved her stuff exactly, always felt well outside her target audience. But I did always at least get her appeal and understood why people liked her so much. Hell, even Look What You Made Me Do, as much of a train wreck as that was, I didn't hate it nearly as much as most people seem to. I found it at least semi-entertaining in how ridiculous and over-the-top it was. This, though, Jesus Christ. Not only does it feel like its only purpose is direct backpedaling and desperate course correction after Reputation flopped, but it's also so flavorless and bland and musical mush. Instrumentally, it's like the 4 chords of pop in reverse or something, and the production is complete ass. Sounds like Imagine Dragons' Thunder. It's pretending to be celebratory of how great Taylor is, and not doing a remotely convincing job of it. Everyone sounds like they'd rather be doing anything else. Brendan Urie's a complete non-presence, and the spelling is fun thing makes me want to die. I mean, she did apparently take that part out on the album proper, but that also just proves to me that she had no confidence in this single to begin with. Yeah, this song is freaking worthless, reeks of obligation and desperation, and anytime I hear it I want to throw up. There you have it, worst song of the year. Good thing we'll all forget this exists by next year. And here is a transition into the best hits list. Typically I do honorable mentions and guilty pleasures here, but I struggled to even find 10 songs that I actually enjoyed listening to from Billboard this year. I suppose I like that BTS song that sort of had Halsey on it, and that song Mark Ronson did with Miley Cyrus was more enjoyable than I would have expected. I guess they can be honorable mentions. And I don't know, maybe Ariana Grande's 7 Rings is a guilty pleasure. I really dislike the song's attitude and lyrical sentiments, especially the line about money solving your problems, but I quite enjoy the beat, and it samples my favorite things from The Sound of Music, which means this kept happening in my mind. There are probably much more contentious picks on the list prepper, but we'll see. May as well get into it. My top 10 best hit songs of 2019. Number 10. Well, David Guetta made a song I like in 2016, the Chainsmokers made a song I like last year, and now Kygo made a song I like this year. Well, okay, I've never truly hated Kygo. He's nowhere near as bad as Guetta or the Chainsmokers. I just think he's a very boring and one-dimensional producer, and all his songs sound exactly the same. This song doesn't sound too much different from his usual fare, but it's remixing a Whitney Houston cover of a Steve Winwood track I'd already known and liked for years. Basically gave this one free points. Of course, Whitney Houston is the best part of the song, feels like a respectful tribute to her. But it is also probably the best production I've ever heard from Kygo. Has some real punch and weight to back it up, unlike basically everything else he's put out. Music video sucks, though. Fucking wireless earpod at the end. Subtlety. So yeah, back to not caring about Kygo and never listening to this song or thinking about it again. Now for a pick that people will probably not like. Number 9. Here we have a guilty pleasure making it on the list, mainly due to lack of choices I actually enjoy. I'd planned on putting Sucker on the list because I remember liking that when it came out, but I listened to it like twice in preparation for this video and realized that I never wanted to hear it again. Even more embarrassing was the fact that this song, which was showing up on a lot of people's worst hits lists, I kept hearing and thinking, uh-oh, I kinda like this. And I actually listened to it a few times and I didn't really get sick of it. And yeah, people complained about the cheap reggae-ish beats and the fake horns and marimbas and crappy low-rent production. I don't disagree with the complaint. I get the feeling that even some of my own albums have higher production values than this. But I don't know. Maybe Sounds from the Ground gave me more of a stomach for reggae-influenced beats coming out of obvious synths. And not to say this is anywhere even close to as good sounding as something they would make, but that beat, cheap as it is kinda why I still like this. Cheesy and mindless in the most enjoyable way. Oh yeah, and the lyrics are also terrible. It definitely has that kinda like, just overly pushy and skeevy blurred lines vibe, but I can tune out the lyrics. Joe Jonas barely enunciates them anyway. The video also sucks less than the last one, if only because the obligatory product placement shot is entirely unconvincing, and that guy pretty visibly didn't actually enjoy that beer. That was funny. I imagine if I had been around radio more and it got overplayed, I'd get sick of this super quickly, but I wasn't around radio, I only heard this on my own time. It's a very surface level enjoyment. I like this cheesy fake reggae beat. I like the main minor key melodies, and I don't think it was intended to be digested on any deeper level than that. Not gonna go out of my way to defend this or feel like this is gonna stick with me in the long term. If you hate it, I will get it, but nah, I like it. Not as much as I like Meghan Trainor's Me Too, but, you know. I have amazing taste that everyone can agree with. Number 8.
I've been having dreams.
Another one I will get if you hate, because I've heard this was played on alt-rock radio for some inexplicable reason. That's kind of baffling to me, because how is this a rock song in any way? This is electronic music, plain and simple. It's a smooth, low-key electro-pop song that's not too far removed from something like Lean On by Major Lazer. It sounds great, has a bouncy and lightweight feel to it to fit the title, and the lead singer, Chelsea Lee, she may not exactly have the most unique or recognizable voice, but she is putting some emotive presence behind this. It's a good song. It's a really good song. I like it a lot. I mean, you could tell me, oh, it sounds like the soundtrack to a commercial. So, Lean On was in all the same kinds of ads as this. That song still holds up. And I still like this, even knowing its context. I'll admit that what prevents it from going higher is that I'm not huge on that bridge with all the whistling. I don't hate that part, but the song would not have been worse off if it had been taken out entirely. Still, really nice. Number 7. The Weeknd is cool, and this song sounds really cool, and even though it feels like it just came out yesterday, I don't think it's gonna be a lasting hit in 2020, so here it is on the list. I don't think it'll stick with me in the long term. I don't like it as much as many of the Starboy deep cuts, but it is good stuff. That's all I got. Next, number 6. Another low-key synth pop number with 2 really good singers on it. This was nice. I liked it. That's all the analysis I have. By the way, did you know that Sam Smith covered Donna Summer's I Feel Love this year?
It's so good, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good.
Yeah, that was a thing. I am okay with that being a thing. Number 5.
They'd rather see me down, put my soul in the fire.
Call it cheap emotional bait, but it works. Great verses from the late Nipsey Hussle and uplifting chorus from John Legend with incredible soul sampling production behind them. Feels like a respectful tribute to the former that he probably enjoyed working on. Well, what was that? There's a third artist on here? No, there isn't. It's by Nipsey Hussle and John Legend. There's some dude yelling in the background, but that's not an artist. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's move on. Here's the obligatory Billie Eilish placement, number 4. I don't really have strong feelings on Billie Eilish in general. Bad Guy didn't sound like anything else this year or most other years and was nice to have around, but it's not something I'd willingly seek out. I just kind of scrolled through her biggest hits, and this was the one that elicited the strongest reaction out of me. Don't actually have anything to say about it. Emotional piano ballad that made me feel things. Good stuff. I am very insightful today. Here's the obligatory Lizzo placement, number 3.
I do my hair talk, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Let it be known that 2019's Billboard charts were so bereft of good stuff that one of the best hits of the year is from 3 years ago. I'm aware that there were Lizzo songs that actually did come out this year and were hits this year, but nah, Good as Hell is way better than Truth Hurts or Juice in my eyes. I guess mainly because I'm a sucker for a good horn section, or even a bad one. If I have one criticism of this track is that I feel like it's a little too short, over way too quickly, and you kind of get the gist of it before the halfway mark. I prefer the remix with Ariana Grande a little over the original, as it feels a bit more fleshed out, despite not actually being longer. But yeah, Good as Hell lives up to its title. Next, number Pitbull. I will not let that joke die.
It's a pity.
So, I think Harry Styles needs to move over. We got a new winner of the One Direction solo career sweepstakes. This is by miles the best One Direction related thing I've ever heard. Where did this come from? The production is fantastic, loud and hard-hitting without being overbearing or wearing out its welcome. Niall himself sounds so effortlessly cool and like... Isn't this the Sweatshirt Pink Town or Dirty Laundry guy? Most Improved Trophy of 2019 or something? Yeah, this song is great. It's not my favorite song to chart in 2019, though. That would be this.
If you don't wanna see me,
Yeah, all my favorite hit songs sound the freaking same, sue me.
did a full 180, crazy, thinking about the
When I first heard Don't Start Now, I felt like it was baiting me directly. It was basically One Kiss crossed with Charlie Puth's Attention. I thought, no, that'd be too easy a shoe-in for my best hits list. It's so similar to all these pop songs I love from the past couple of years. I shouldn't make my number one this obvious, right? It doesn't feel like a number one best anything. But then I listened to it like 30 times over the past couple of months, and I thought, nah, I'll just take the bait. It's the one pop song from this year that I willingly spent the most time with, and its competition replay value-wise hasn't even been close. This was just as addicting as One Kiss, but even that one wore out this year, and this feels like it topped it in almost every way, and plus I don't have to praise Calvin Harris for its existence. Will I get sick of this in 2020? Yeah, probably. But I'm still high on this one, and I'm gonna mark it as the one genuine lasting thrill Billboard gave me this year. Dua Lipa, Don't Start Now, my favorite hit song of 2019. So, yeah, that's it. But of course, this is just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, so leave the comments in the comment thing down there. Shout out to my Patreon supporters. They're awesome people. You want to add yourself to that list or make a review of something, link to my Patreon is in the description. Panning. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all for today. See you next time.
somebody